what's gone into TransIT in the past month since our last meeting, and we'll go through these individually, but under the General tab, we've fixed the sort category in the columns in workflows, modules, and scripts. It was sorting A to Z, not Z to A, so that's now fixed. Inside plans, we've added back the ability to have customized columns as a percent driver, which has been a huge feature that a lot of our clients have asked for. So we've actually added that back in. We've added a pop-up to fill in requirement fields when you right-click and you mark an activity completed. We've added in that it will autofill the word completed if a text area or text box is empty. So when you mark something using a right-click and it's empty in the text area or text box, TransIT will automatically insert the word completed into the field for you. And that's only if it's selected as a percent driver. And we've also added formatting options to a text area. Inside workflows, we've added a whole bunch of stuff this month. So we've added an ability to add an outcome to a task or a gateway. You may have noticed that the color has changed to an orange when you're adding modules or outcomes to your workflows. We've fixed a filtering issue on the workflow number. We've also enhanced the circular diagrams. So for the most part, if you did have a circular diagram inside your workflow, 98% of the time, it would pull through the correct action and outcome. But on the rare occasion, it didn't. So we've now just fixed that and enhanced the circular diagram functionality. We fixed the height on the outcome. So if you did have several lines on your outcome, when you click the workflow step preview, it now adjusts the height for that individual row instead of just cutting off your text. We've added the ability to snip and paste from an image into a workflow. So where that would be hugely beneficial is if you have a PDF, you can now snip a whole bunch of information and put it directly into your workflow. And we've fixed the sort on the status column as well. Inside of scripts, we fixed the default values not populating from previous steps when you use the add workflow icon. So we'll now default in information that was associated with the previous steps. We've fixed the default values not populating inside a scenario script where the day and facility was not automatically adding into the next step if you're using the add step icon. We fixed up the category option when you right click and you create a module. So now you have your option to put your category inside your creation of your module. And we've also added the ability to add a screenshot to a test step, which has been another big feature that has been requested by some of our clients. And inside testing, we fixed the right-click options for test notes. So we actually added in some right-click options to make it easier for everyone to manage their test notes and update test notes in bulk. So let's go through some of the features individually. So the sorting on a category in sorting on a category column in workflows, modules, and scripts. As I mentioned, it did sort A to Z, but it didn't sort Z to A. So now if you do click that sort icon, it will sort A to Z, Z to A. Inside of plans with your customized columns, you can now select the percent driver for any customized columns. So previously you could only do it with a checkbox. Now you can do it with any of your customized columns and it will calculate your percentage based on which columns you have selected for your percent driver and how many have been actioned inside of your plan. We've also added this pop-up. So if you do right-click and you have lists available inside of your plan and they are empty, this pop-up will populate with any of the lists that are empty and it will trigger you to fill out the information for you. So if you right click and mark it completed, this will pop up. If you have any lists, you just go down the drop down menu, select your desired selection, and then select complete, and it will automatically load it up into your activity inside of your plan. When you're using that right-click option, if you do have a text area or a text box that is blank, TransIT will now automatically add in the word completed. So you can see that on the screen now. If you do have text in there, it will not override it and put in completed. It's only if it's blank and you use the right-click mark as completed. Inside of your text area, you now have this pop-up. So instead of editing the text inside of the cell for your activity, this will pop up when you double-click on the cell for the text area. You can now format and add any information you'd like in there and click Save, and it will now retain that formatting for you. So inside workflows, I know we demonstrated workflows at our last meeting. We've now updated workflows to include a lot of different functionality. So now you can see on the screen that when you add modules or outcomes to your tasks, then they will turn orange. This is to help you identify more easily which ones you've actually associated with a module or an outcome. So it'll just make it a lot easier for you to review your workflows. In terms of an outcome, if you do add, in terms of a gateway, if you do add an outcome to a gateway, it will include it on the arrow. So you can see there it's a black arrow. If I added an outcome to that gateway, the arrow would then change orange. So much like the one on the top left-hand corner there in the picture. The issue with filtering on the number column, if you entered a number in your filter and clicked enter, it didn't populate the correct results. So now when you enter a number, it will correctly populate the results inside your workflow. Now that a lot of clients are using workflows, that'll be used more regularly. In terms of the workflow circular diagrams, I mentioned it earlier, but for the most part, it was pulling through the correct steps, but on the rare occasion, it was not. So we've just enhanced the ability to utilize that circular diagram inside your workflows, and it now pulls through the correct steps and the correct pathways. This snippet and paste inside a workflow. I know a lot of our internal Make Solutions team have been using this with updating workflows inside of TransIT. So you can now use your snip tool on your keyboard. So you can use, I think it's Windows Shift and S, or you can use your snip tool on your keyboard. You can highlight your text or your boxes. So this is just an excerpt from a workflow from a PDF document. You can snip that and then paste it inside of your workflow, and you won't have to rewrite all the text or copy and paste each of the boxes or create them. TransIT will create them yourself or for yourself. The only caveat is that if you do have a decision in there, so you can see here the third box is the decision, you would have to go and update that box to make it a decision gateway instead of a task. In terms of filtering on the status column inside of workflow, it was not correctly filtering. So we now have the ability to sort and filter on that column inside of the workflow dashboard. When you enter an outcome on a workflow task, if you do have multiple rows, previously it would cut off some of the text. Now TransIT will automatically adjust. So you can see the row that's highlighted, it will automatically adjust to the text that you've typed into the outcome. So it's more easily readable and ready to review. Inside a script, when you use the add workflow icon, Previously, these highlighted sections inside the select workflow were not pre-populating. They now pre-populate based on what is previously entered inside of your script. So again, it just saves a little bit of clicking. If you don't have anything that is inside of the script on your generate script steps page, then it will populate with nothing in there. But once you start creating your story and you've got your previous day there, so if you're at day 3 and you add a workflow, it will automatically update to day 3 and whatever facility you're at. So again, it's just making it easier for everyone to create content. Same philosophy when we're looking at adding a step inside a script. The day area here on the right-hand side was not displaying, so you would have to go in and manually update the day. When you add a step, you can automatically change the day for you, and it will populate to the last day that you're adding the step to. So if you're at day 5 and you click add step, it'll populate with day 5, and then if you don't want it on day 5, you can obviously change it. When using the right-click create module option inside of a script, we've now added the category. So previously you would have to go in to the modules page and update the category. Now you're able to associate a category to the module all in one step. So again, making sure that everybody is saving some precious time when you're creating your content, and deleting the requirement to have to go and do another step in another page. This is another feature that was requested by a lot of clients. So now you can add in a screenshot to your action. We are going to, in the future, add the ability to add that screenshot into the outcome column as well. You can also choose a file when you upload it, or when if you're uploading a screenshot, or you can use your snip tool, much like we discussed earlier in the workflows. So you can just click Control V inside the step details, and it will automatically load the image up, and then it will display here. And then on your test dashboard for that script, it'll pull through all of these images. So if you had every single step had an image on your test dashboard, it will pull through each image associated with that step. Patty, did you want to go over the deleted and archive projects and the use case for them?
Sure. Can I quickly say as well, with regards, we talked about the ability to put statuses in workflows, but our intention is that you would use TransIT going forward for managing all of your workflows in TransIT. So there's completely customizable. You define what you want the statuses to be, but we've always thought that when you're working with some of the vendors like Oracle, that they only stop it when the workflow is approved. But after a workflow is approved, you still need to create a functional test script for that workflow and then make sure it's in an integration test script. So using the statuses inside TransIT has some advantages. Now for the tip of the month. So I've noticed that not all of our clients are currently using the deleted and archived project. And the difference between the two is there's going to be a ton of stuff that you delete over time that you never ever want to see again. So what we were suggesting people do is for plans and for scripts that you use repeatedly, that you have as a sort of template and you want to reuse, instead of putting them in the deleted project, to keep those things that are good that you want to store in the archive project, so that they're not in your face all the time, but that when you restore the archive project so that you can get back to those templates, you're not restoring everything from deleted at the same time. Does anybody have questions about that? And it obviously doesn't matter if you call it archive. You can call it whatever you want. That was just our suggestion.
Great. If there's no questions, one note on the education videos, there is a workflow overview video up on the education page. I will be updating it in the next couple of days with the new functionality that's gone into TransIT in the last 3 to 4 weeks. So for the most part, the workflow video that's up is generally the correct way to build your workflows. It just doesn't have the orange coloring and outcomes in it, but that is coming. And then we're always adding more videos as we go. If you do need a video or you feel like you need one pushed up, because a lot of your team are asking, just send an email to support@makeSolutionsInc.com and we'll be able to push that up in priority. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns that they've had in the last 3 to 4 weeks since we met?
Well, I will say one other thing with regards to workflows. We are going to be adding the functionality to be able to export it to Excel. It was pointed out that some people would like to use the workflow diagramming for internal processes. So I know there's a couple of clients who use it for new provider checklists. So for all the steps that need to be done when you onboard a new provider. And so those aren't really things that you would put in a test script, but you would probably love to put those in a plan. So we're adding the ability to also export a workflow to Excel.
Great. If there's no questions, then everyone have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.